Bessa for Florida U Judge, and good morning. Today I have judicial candidate Dave Ellis, who is running in Group 4 for the 6th Circuit, which includes both Pinellas and Pasco counties. And he's here with me today because he has come to inform the voters, viewers about his candidacy. And so good morning, Dave. How are you?
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I'd like to first start off with the question that I always begin with judicial candidates. I want the viewers to listen to you as to why you'd like to be a judge, why you think you'd be a good judge.
I've always felt the need in my life to feel like I was doing something that was meaningful and that positively impacted others. And in my legal practice, almost everything that I do involves helping families in crisis. And that's been the most satisfying part for me of legal practice over the last 26 years, is helping families and people through the worst times in their lives. Over the last 20 years, I've been doing more and more community service, and I believe that as attorneys, judges, that we all have a duty to support our community and use our time and our skills to help people. And for me, being a judge would allow me to positively impact the greatest number of people, and if elected, I will work very, very hard on it every day to serve the citizens of Pinellas and Pasco to the very best of my ability.
Okay, so you've been practicing for 26 years. Can you tell the viewers a little bit about what that has entailed, what you've done in your professional work?
My practice includes basically 3 areas. I do family law litigation, which is divorces, paternity cases, domestic violence injunctions, child support, alimony, dependency cases where children are removed from their house. I also do civil litigation, which is injury cases, wrongful death, contract litigation, and I do elder law, which is estate planning. I do probate litigation, those are will and trust contests, and I do Medicaid planning when folks can no longer live at home and need to be in a nursing home.
You've mentioned a couple of areas that are high intensity, very stressful. I know I've talked to persons who have undergone cases which dealt with child custody issues, child support issues, family law issues, which it could be pretty high intensity, high emotion. What I'd like to ask you this, I asked a judicial candidate yesterday this question. What are your thoughts? What would you say and speak to as to what the average person, any person that sees themselves in a civil issue where they have to go to court, being criminally charged, what should the experience be of a person that goes before a judge? And I ask specifically because oftentimes persons feel afraid. They feel afraid. They feel like they're not heard. What ideally would you say their experience should be with their interaction with the court?
Well, I've had nearly 26 years of literally going to court and holding people's hands. I represent people from the first time they come in my office, through discovery, through hearings, ultimately up through trial. So I have a really good sense of what people are feeling and what their experience is like. And unfortunately, or maybe fortunately for most people, it's their only time that they've ever been in a courtroom and ever faced a judge. People have very different ideas about what to expect. It's very intimidating, it's very scary, and it's not like watching Judge Judy on TV. For them, it's very real. It is their life. It is whether or not they're going to be able to see their children, whether or not they're going to get child support, whether or not they're going to get compensation for their injuries. It's very real for them. And so what is important for them is that they know that the judge listened to them, considered what they had to say, and that they feel that they were treated fairly. Often in court, people are not going to like the outcome, and that's just a reality. Family law, for instance, one party may not like the outcome, sometimes both parties may not, but at the very, very least, those parties need to know that that judge listened, was patient, considered what they had to say, so that when they walk out, they know that they received their day in court. And if I'm elected, I will make sure that I do my utmost to make sure that happens in every case. Because for those parties, that's the most important case. Even if a judge has thousands of cases that they may hear, Those parties don't care about that. They care about their case and their day in court that they wait a long time to get.
Dave, you mentioned some volunteer work, pro bono. Do you want to be a little bit more specific, detailed?
Sure. I love doing community service. I've been very involved in the Clearwater Bar Association, which has been a fantastic vehicle for doing that. I don't think that as attorneys we can sit in the office and just be by ourselves. We need to be out in the community. We need to be helping other people. One of the things that I've been very passionate about is there is a tremendous access to justice problem in our country. 80% of the people cannot afford an attorney that need one. 80%. And these folks, in a lot of cases, let's say family law, they can represent themselves without an attorney, but it is incredibly difficult for them to do that. So I have been involved with creating, recruiting attorneys to be involved with, and participating myself in pro bono projects. And one of them I was very proud of as Clearwater Bar President actually resulted in doubling the number of pro bono hours that Clearwater Bar attorneys provided through Bay Area Legal Services in the year 2016. That is not going to solve the problem, but at least locally our bar association is doing something to try to address the problem. I'm also involved in a lot of other projects that involve school-age children, whether it's a Goldilocks trial, the Law Day poster contest, the Great American Teach-In, the high school speakers program. I really like doing that, and it's a great complement to the normal and regular practice of law with paying clients.
Wonderful, Dave. That's wonderful. Can you just speak a little bit about you personally, your personal history?
Sure. My family moved here in 1974 when my dad retired from the U.S. Air Force. I grew up in Clearwater. My mom still lives in the very same house that my parents bought in 1974. I graduated from Countryside High School in 1982. I graduated from Florida State with my undergrad and Mercer Law School with my law degree. I have been practicing in the Tampa Bay area ever since 1992. Since 1995, my office has been in Largo. I am married to my wife, Michelle. We've been married for 18 years. She's a board-certified nurse at Tampa General and has been for 22 years. We have 3 children, Marissa, Evan, and Garrett, and they are 8, 11, and 15. I love this community. I love living here. I couldn't think of a better place to work, to live, and to raise a family.
Great, Dave. Listen, lastly, I'd like to just, if you'd like, let the viewers know, the voters, some of your endorsements, and to leave you with the opportunity to say whatever last words you'd like to leave the voters with. We know that the absentee ballots go out today, I think, or yesterday went out.
Today is the day.
Okay, and so in the election, where you go in person, is the 28th, I'm going to leave you with the last minutes to say whatever you'd like to say to the voters.
I've been endorsed by numerous elected officials. I have been endorsed by literally hundreds of my colleagues, attorneys, people I have known and worked against on cases for many, many years. I have been endorsed by most all of the living Clearwater Bar past presidents. Of those that haven't endorsed me, we have people like judges, myself for instance, and other government employees that are not allowed to endorse. So I have tremendous support from my colleagues in the legal profession, which I'm very proud of. The election is August 28th. Mail ballots go out today. Early voting starts a couple weeks before. There are a lot of people that don't vote in the election. They really, really should vote in the election, in the primary, because for judges and school board, it is the only opportunity you're going to get to vote for those folks. People don't seem to realize that. It's not the general election. Being a judge is something I've wanted to do for a long time. I feel a tremendous need to serve our community in this capacity. If I have the honor of being elected, I will work as hard as I possibly can to be the absolute best possible judge that I can in the courtroom. Out of the courtroom, I'm going to continue to the extent that the rules allow my community service. It's something I feel passionate about. I feel very connected to our community. So I hope that the voters give me the opportunity to positively impact our community by letting me serve as their judge.
Thanks for coming in, Dave. I appreciate it. I'm sure the voters are going to appreciate it. My name is Heidi Oropez. I put this information out there. I know how difficult it is for some voters at times during judicial races because there's not much out there at times for them to become knowledgeable about judicial candidates. So I appreciate very much, I'm sure the voters will too, Dave, for coming in again. Heidio Oropesa for Florida U Judge. Thanks for watching. Till next time.